Hello and welcome to another model building workshop. I am Mr. Allen, coming to you on behalf of the Community Libraries of Providence. I'm at the Smith Hill location, and today we're going to look at some 1/72nd scale tanks from Pegasus Hobbies. Now, I'm not that familiar with Pegasus Hobbies, to be honest. I've done maybe some cactus things or some sort of plant type things that they've done in the past. I think I did one Easy Snap Hawker Hurricane with some kids. So my knowledge of this company is not that good, but I'm working on learning more about it. Okay, so we're looking at some KV-1S Soviet battle tanks. You get two in this set, which I think is kind of a fun feature with these 1/72nd scale Pegasus kits. You get two of them. Kind of neat. And they tend to have this museum collection tag on a lot of their boxes. I've noticed that for the stuff I built in the past. Well, I don't know if I built them. They were like cactus. And I know they had things for like Spanish missions and things like that. And those date a while back, but they've been expanding their line, making some interesting things. So there's a lot of different things here that are kind of interesting on the box. All right, so let's look at some of this. I mean, there's a lot of info on that side of this box. So it says Pegasus Hobbies is from Montclair, California. So you get that, and it says made in China. And then it says European distributor is Pocket Bond Limited and Hertz, England. So how this kit in particular kind of came into my possession, it was a gift, I guess, and somebody gave it to me. I guess they found it in a secondhand store, which is kind of fun. It's a fun way to find model kits, right? So where this thing came from originally, who knows? Because it's got the U.S., it's got England, it's got China, it's all over the place. So it lists it as ages 8 and up. I think the age 8 is very optimistic. Maybe if you got a kid that really knows what he's doing, I think it's possible to build this. And we'll get into that in a moment. So one thing I think is really funny is it's got this story on the side, because a lot of them model kits tend to give you these little mini histories in the side of the box. Often they'll be on the instruction sheet as well. And this says, "Forward, comrade! The newest battle tank has arrived from the People's Arsenal, and it is the speedy version of the rugged KV tank. Lighter than the previous versions, this one will cross those wooden bridges with ease as you drive back the fascist invader." Well, that's fun. Says it's molded, 36 parts, molded in gray plastic. It's actually in green plastic, which is a little more convenient for Russian armor, Soviet tanks. Again, you get two of these. These are KV-1Ss. So the KV-1S was kind of what they imply here. It was one of the KV-1 series of tanks, but it's a version that was with thinner armor, was lighter. It had a different cast turret than the original ones on the the welded ones or the riveted ones from the earlier KV series. So it was a lighter, faster version of the KV-1 tank. Was it better than the others? Debatable. And I'm saying that because I've kind of referenced that from a book, which we'll look at right now, I guess. So this old standby, it's got a little bit about the KV-1S way at the back of the book with the Soviet armor. Shows you a few different examples here. If I can hold this. So you get a few different painting options. Most of them are, typical overall dark green, which is kind of the standard for Soviet armor of the period. There's one on top there that's got a 3-tone camo, which is an interesting option. And there's a couple on the other side here are later war versions, like one in Berlin with the white stripe on it. And according to this, it says that, you know, after 6 months of fighting, the Soviet army lost approximately 12,000 tanks. And by the Battle of Berlin, we were forced to use older models, such as this one. The bottom one here is a KV-85, which is a slightly different turret and gun on it. So the S is for, oh boy, Skorotsny, or Skorotsny, which is fast, meaning the lighter, quicker version of the KV-1. And as it says here, the turret is slightly smaller than the other versions, and that the commander of the tank no longer had the role of the loader, as had been the case in the previous models, so he was kind of set back with a cupola. And the gun is still the 76 millimeter gun, you know, from the original versions. So that's some interesting info there, and they have some, as I just showed you, they have some good painting and decal options. And one downside of the Pegasus kit is there's no decals in here, so there's no mention of decals or markings, which, to be honest, is not unheard of with Soviet armor of the period. Overall dark green, no markings is not uncommon, though some numbers would have been nice, because normally they'd have a number, but not always. So here's an assembled version. So yeah, it's 72nd scale, so it's a bit tiny. It's a rather simplified kit. The detail's a little light, a little soft, but it was still kind of a fun little challenge to put this together. I think it came out okay. The treads, as you can see, are a major problem with the kit. The detail there is not good, but you know, again, in 72nd scale, treads tend to be a problem anyway. So, and I'm noticing, looking at these things online, the prices are not bad. So they're low cost, low part count, kind of easy. But let me show you the pieces here so you can get an idea. So, pros and cons here. So I'm seeing this style of track is getting to be more common in more recent 72nd scale kits with the wheels. The track is already there, which, you know, in some ways I think it's better than the rubber versions, which rubber tracks in 72nd scale. But again, these treads, you know, the molding could be a heck of a lot better. And I don't know if you can see, the attachment points on this are very, very thick sprues, so you have to do a lot of slicing. Granted, the plastic's soft enough that my X-Acto blade, chisel blade, went right through it without too much difficulty, and cleanup wasn't terrible. Oh, I got a drive wheel. I guess that's in the box. Oh well. But you got the wheels with the arms already on them, if you can see that. Sorry, the lighting's a little bit rough here. And you just line them up on the back side of that. Boom, boom, boom. It gives you the torsion bars of sorts, so you can just kind of sandwich it onto the hull, which is, whole bottom is right here. Just kind of pops on. It's not a snap kit, it's almost. I did find glue was needed when I built it, although almost snap, I guess. You know, hull top, like none of the hatches are workable, and the turret is just a few pieces there. Few small parts, a couple of machine guns, headlight for the front of the vehicle, Some fuel cans, they go on the side. Fuel drums there. Minimal parts count. Not a lot of work. I mean, most of it for me was on the painting and trying to detail it to make it look like something. You know, I do intend to get some decals for this out of my spares. I do have some. And I'm going to hope that they work. I really haven't done much in 72nd scale in many years. I still have some decals kicking around. I mean, but they're going back a ways. Let me give you an example of the problems you run into with 72nd scale treads. If you remember this kit from back a while ago when we did this video, this is the Vickers 6-ton, and these rubber tracks are kind of hideous. You know, I did the best I could to kind of keep them on here. They don't want to stay on for anything. So, I don't know. Jury's out is what I think about these. I think the plastic makes more sense, though the detail on those tread links is disappointing. But mud cures all problems with model tanks, right? So just add some muck on there, and I might set this in a diorama and kind of blend it in with some crud and mud. make it kind of fit in a little better, so you don't really notice, you know, the issues with the tracks. Let me look at the instructions. Hold on just a moment. So here's the instruction sheet, and pretty basic instructions there. And there are some issues with the instructions. I mean, I guess, well, let me just explain. So they number the parts, but on the sprue, there's no numbers to match what part's which, you know. So you're going to have to just take them and go fit and see if that's the one. They give you some indications of where the tabs and holes are supposed to be. So, you know, as it says here, up on the step 1 and 2 about where the wheels are supposed to go. And then there's dehumidifiers making noise. I don't know if you can pick that up on the video, but it is a hot, sticky day in Rhode Island, so. So there are machine guns, one in the hull front and one in the back of the turret, and you're going to have to just figure out which one fits where. I mean, it becomes obvious once you test fit them, so it's not impossible. So a lot of this is going to require just trial and error of fitting pieces, so don't be glue happy right away. You're going to need to figure out exactly, oh, this one goes on this side, this one goes on the other. I mean, that sounds kind of obvious for a model builder, but the numbering system, since there's no numbers written anywhere on these parts, and this is the only piece of instruction I got. But hey, it's assembled, right? So obviously it wasn't that terrible. So overall, I think it's kind of a mixed bag. I mean, the detail, yeah, you get 2 in the box. The price is really low. I think these would be pretty good for like wargaming and things of that nature. I think this would be ideal, and maybe that was the market they're looking at for this. I'm not really sure. From what little research I did, it didn't really indicate if that was the goal of these kits, but it's certainly perfect for that. Again, for me it was a gift, so, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to see what I can make out of this. And I tend to like that hobby within the hobby of saying, okay, this is not a great kit, but maybe it can be made into something cool. So I like that challenge, and I think with some paint and a little bit of weathering, I don't think it's terrible. I think it's kind of fun, and I'm looking forward to trying to do something else with it. And I'm going to put the 2 of them in a scene and see how they work out. And like I said, I'm going to grab some markings for my spares. You know, I got a few Got a few sitting here in a box of all kinds of stuff sitting there. I'm going to find some kind of a turret number out of all of this, and got a few, I know you really can't see this. Got an old KV-1 sheet from who knows what decade this came from. But it's got some slogans. I may look at that. Hopefully they still work. They've been sitting there for, I don't even want to think about how old those are, because I was really into 72nd scale tanks when I was in high school, and that was a while ago. I'm not going to tell you how while ago that was, but anyway. So that's a quick look at a Pegasus models set of KV-1S tanks. I don't know, if you want something different and fun to try to monkey around with, why not? Okay, we'll see you on the next model building workshop. Stay cool, stay dry, and all that. Okay, bye.